Hello, viewers. It's Sentai Michael from Screen Views, bringing you a new podcast from my separate Gozyuger Sentai review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to breach your heart during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And also, this art podcast recording will feature some adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will feature some adult language. Now, if you're over 18, then it's good to watch this art podcast recording. Now, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into let's get into the latest episode of Gozyuger. So basically, we see how coming into the cafe after a job interview. So it turns out that how walk so basically how to save money, how walk all the way back to the cafe in this hot weather, in the hot weather. So basically, it's a very hot day, and how decide to so basically to save some money, walking back to the cafe where he lives at, where he lives at and whatnot, in a room and whatnot. So anyway, like damn. And the other reason was like, you walk. You, so basically, you walk all the way back here from your interview just to save some money. Well, yeah, yeah, cause hey, whatever money I do have, it's for paying rent or for food. So basically, like how explain his reasons, like the reason why he decided to walk back to the cafe instead of taking the buses, taking transportation back to the cafe because hey, I had to pay rent. I had to pay rent and eat. So basically, like at the end of the day, rent and food is the most important thing to me right now. So anyway, meanwhile, meanwhile, we see Riku trying to contact his friend with the great eyes named Ray, and basically, like so far he's not picking up. And out of nowhere, we see his friend with the great eyes named Ray, who kidnapped Odo again, and basically like hey, oh. Oh, I figured you come looking for me. So basically, like Ray made it clear to Riku that yes, I kidnapped your friends, I kidnapped your unicorn friend, your sister, but made it clear, like, all right, and basically, okay, and then, Riku was like, return her. Look, I just want you to turn her sister, and basically, like, I'll leave your name, I'll leave you out of this. So basically, like, he didn't give a reason why he kidnapped Ray's sister, but he, he's like, he didn't give a reason why he kidnapped Otto in the first place, but he said that oh, well, and basically he didn't also give a reason, he didn't say no to return her or yes for returning her, etc., etc. So basically, basically Ray was like, I remember you saying that you're going to be a big pop star one of these days. I'm going to smile at your concerts and whatnot. So basically, like Ray, the great High Man Ray was like, whoa, well, basically, you owe me for that night, and we see a scar, like this big scar on his arm, and basically we have a flashback of Wiku and Ray, in an alley, somewhere in the alley, at night, raining somewhere, and basically, he has that big cut, Ray has that big cut on his arm that's now a scar, and basically, not everybody gets second chances nowadays. So basically, like Riku was like, Riku was just looking like, what the hell have you got yourself into? So basically, Ray had Ray had opened up a little case, look like he took some like a pill or something, and basically, like seems like it seems like start to explain herself to Riku what's been going on with him and whatnot. Meanwhile, we see Bouquet, at the headquarters at the bridal headquarters, with her Riku shrine, praying for Fire Candle, because ever since that, praying for Fire Candle. So basically, Miss Sweet Cake and Mr. Shiny Knife is like, what the hell is like what you're praying for? So basically, like, I'm praying for that, to for Mr. Kennedy to be alright. Ever since he got that Sentai ring, he's been acting strange, strange. So anyway, we see Fire Candle somewhere on Earth, and basically he tracked out another Sentai warrior who owns a food truck and had the Go Buster ring, and basically he started to fight him and whatnot, and basically, using the power of the Go Buster ring, basically, he transformed into Red Buster, and basically Red Buster has super speed, and basically, Fire Candle transformed into Seeking Red, and waited to the right moment to strike, and basically and ended up taking the dude's Sentai ring, and basically took the Go Buster Sentai ring from that warrior, and basically Fire Cannon seems like he's in it seems like he's in a seems like he's in this possessive move and whatnot. It was like he craves more Sentai rings and whatnot. So anyway, so anyway, So anyway, after Fire Cannon took the Go Buster Sentai ring from the warrior who had it, we see we see a number one monster called the Cheatskate, named Cheatskate, because forcing people to save money, forcing people to save money, while terrorizing people to save money and whatnot, and basically, the rest of the Rangers. So basically, how we I don't know, sorry. So basically, how Ryogi, some Eno, and Kinjin showed up on the scene, and basically, they realized how cheap the monster is, just how it's the master of being cheap and whatnot. So basically, they had a battle between the monster who could say the most who could say the most funny and whatnot. So basically, how was winning against the monster, against the cheapskate monster, and the cheapskate monster decided to do some reverse psychology on how, and basically, so basically, you're a good cheapskate, but you're good at saving your money and be a good cheapskate and all, but what you gonna do? But what you gonna do with all the money that you save? But so, what's your big dream for all the money you save? What you gonna do with all the money that you save, and basically for your dream? And basically, how does not have a dream yet or a goal? He's looking for, the whole purpose of how is, being a ranger in the first place, to figure out what is his goal and what is his dream that he wants. And basically, the monster did some verse with, and basically how, since how has not figured it out yet, the monster basically basically causing how to have doubt in itself, about what the goal in it, what type of goal and dream he wants for his life and whatnot. And basically, the monster left how doubting himself and whatnot. So basically, after some after Meshido came back to the cafe, with a little help from the landlady and her son, mm, like gave him some words of encouragement and whatnot. So basically, we understand that you're still trying to figure out your goal and dream for your life, but at the same time, we all see. We all see you. We from your cheapskate way, you found the beauty of being a cheapskate. So basically, after finding some words of encouragement, how God is funk, and the next time they saw the cheapskate monster, basically he was attacking a bunch of people with some foot soldiers, and basically how so basically, how the other Rangers showed up on the scene and how it spawned the monster while the rest of the Rangers were battling the foot soldiers. Basically, Firecon did show up on the scene, transform into Seeking Red and whatnot. So basically, how what's the new after finding his after being inspired again, managed to free the person inside the cheapskate monster and destroy the cheapskate monster and whatnot, and try to herself to figure out what his goal, to figure out what's his dream and goal for his life and whatnot, and still continue on his path to figure out his goal and dream in life for his life and whatnot. So basically, after the foot soldiers were taken down, Fire Cannon, who is now in Chicken Red Ranger form, was giving the Rangers a good fight. And so basically, how decided to use the Boat Ranger Sentai ring and use the Boat Rangers, cannon, to cannon to shoot the cement side, use the cement gun from the boat ranger's cannon gun to freeze cannon in cement, and basically, and says, if we're gonna take that Sentai ring off you because you're just acting crazy and whatnot. So basically, Fire Cannon was trying to break free from the concrete. Out of nowhere, we see this little rail gun, this little Orca rail gun come into come into fire, showed up and basically broke Fire Cannon free from the concrete, and basically, yeah, and basically Machina know what it is. And and he told Fire Cannon, don't use that. And basically, so basically, this little whale gun thing transformed Fire Cannon into Chicken Red, and basically his wings changed to a super so basically into a super form ring, so basically turns out this rail gun is called the Ochre Booster 5050, and basically it allows Firecracker to transform into Super Sinking Red, and basically the Rangers were having difficulty trying to take down Firecracker. Now he and Sinking Red forming now. Anyway, Rio finally shows up, and basically the others are like, oh, it's about time you showed up. Where you been at? So basically he fired on the others, including Fire Candle, and basically he said sorry, and basically the other Rangers and Fire Candle was like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with you? Fire Candle was like, I understand you turning against your friends, but why you're attacking me, it's real. So basically, and Riku said that, I'm sorry, everybody. And basically, the episode ended with everybody, with all the Rangers and Fire Cannon staring at Riku, basically turning against the Rangers, and also fighting Fire Cannon at the same time. And basically, that's how the episode ended on this note. So basically, things are starting to get very interesting. So basically, most likely, Riku must be owe his friend Ray a big favor. Probably owes his friend a big favor, and basically he's betraying the other Rangers, and must be a part of him paying off that favor that he owes his friend Ray, the Gray Eye Man and whatnot. but we just have to wait and see. So anyway, this was a good episode. So this was a good episode of Gozyuger. So basically, what do you guys think about the latest episode of Gozyuger? Good, bad, or just okay? Please let me know what the comments below. Anyway, signing off from the Reviews. One.